Welcome. Today I'm going to repair a leaky toilet. If you listen closely, you'll hear that this toilet fill valve is not properly closed. And therefore, we're wasting water and we're also wasting money. Okay, so let's get at it. So as you can see, I removed the tank top, and it's actually much easier to hear the water continuing to flow, even though the tank is full. And you'll notice right here, it's flowing over this flush tube here because this pressure switch is not shut off all the way. The float is designed that when the water level comes up, this float assembly should shut off that valve by putting pressure on the pressure switch. If I lift up on it like I am now, the water does shut off. There are adjustments here. You can adjust this rod, and you can make adjustments here on the pressure switch. I've tried to make those adjustments. I've had no success at getting this thing to shut off. Actually, we want the water level here to be approximately a ½ inch below the top of that flush tube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that fill valve with this Fluid Master fill valve here. I like this one. I've used it before on another toilet in the house, and it works well. So the first thing we want to do is locate the water shutoff valve, and that's usually right behind the toilet. It's easy to spot, and what we want to do is just turn that clockwise until it shuts off the water. And then we're going to have to disconnect this here, because this threaded portion is actually part of the fill valve, and it has to come off. In order to do that, I suggest we get a bucket, place underneath it. First we're going to flush the toilet to get rid of the majority of the water. So I'll do that. And we'll hold this open and let it drain as far down as it possibly can. And what you'll notice is there's a tiny bit of water left in the tank. And so that's why we have the bucket underneath the connection here when we remove this. So as you can see, I removed this fill hose, and there's a nut here that we're going to have to remove, and then this fill valve will just pop right out of the top of the toilet. Okay, so that nut we want to take and put a wrench on that and just loosen it up. It shouldn't be very tight. Move this out of the way. And now I think it's loose enough. We can turn, no, not yet. Loosen that a little bit more. And expect more water to come out. There you have it. So we'll go ahead and finish that. Let that drain. And then we'll remove the nut the rest of the way and then pull it out. So here you can see I've removed it. I just popped it up, and that's it. This one is out. We'll put the new one in. So I've unpacked the fill valve kit, and as you'll see here, it's pretty simple. There's just 4 items. We have the fill valve with float assembly. We have a fill tube clip, and a lock nut. And I'm not actually going to use the fill tube clip, because what I like to do is, since on this fill tube here, there's a nice little slot for this fill tube to fit into, and it holds it really nicely. And that's what I plan on using. Okay, so this fill valve is adjustable for different tank sizes, and the way you adjust it is you hold the top part like that, and then you want to turn this part left. And as you can see, this will screw out. And this actually is the adjustment that you need to make so that the water level will stop about ½ inch below the fill tube. Okay, so now that I have this adjusted properly, all I'm going to do is put this into the hole. You'll notice that there's a seal here, and you got to make sure that seal is in place. I'm going to put that into the hole, and you can rotate it either way so that this fill adjustment does not bump up against the fill tube. Okay, now what we want to do is put the nut on the bottom, and this should not be over tightened. So hand tight is actually good enough for this, but you do want to make sure it's tight enough where it won't leak. We're going to check afterwards and make sure we have no leaks. Okay, so now what we want to do is install this fill tube, and we want to put it on the fill port here, and it's going to go into this slot here. But this one is too long. So what I do is I put it on the port first, make sure it's on there all the way, push it all the way onto the port, and I just adjust it like this. And so I want to leave a little slack, so right about there, and all I use is electrical pliers, and I cut it just like that. And you can use scissors. And then we install it into this slot here on the fill tube and push it in there. And that's it. So we'll go ahead and connect up the water supply, and we should be good to go. Okay, as you can see, I've reconnected the water supply, and now we're going to open the valve and check for leaks. And it looks pretty good. There's no water leakage here. And now we want to see if we got the tank fill adjusted properly. So we're just waiting, watching it fill. And what you're going to see is this float is rising right here. And if we need to adjust it, we got an adjustment knob right here. The water level is. And it shuts off just about perfect spot. I think you can see it there. Right there. And that's just about a ½ inch below the overflow tube, top of the overflow tube, which is where we want it to be. Okay. So we can go ahead and flush it and see how that's going to work again. And if you listen closely, you'll hear how solid this one shuts off in the end. It really has a nice shut off. No leakage at all. And there you have it. Our toilet no longer leaks.